built-ins, take a look at what is both an external command and a built-in. Try to just get a rough idea of which of the commands are built-ins and which are external files. Let's take a quick look at functions of a Unix shell, that is, what are shells there for? The two main reasons for having a shell are, one, to execute commands, to have the user execute commands, and another thing is to execute scripts. It turns out a big part dash, just because it's faster, and what it does is starts up all the system services using scripts, and we might get to see some of them, but these are mainly things that run the operating system. They're pretty complex. We'll have to start out with simpler scripts, and that's what your notes. Okay, so the shell takes care of a lot of things like file name substitution. Remember, we saw wildcard characters. That's all done with the shell. I/O redirection, input redirection, output redirection. That is, instead of sending output of a command to the console or to the screen, you can send it to a file. Pipes we haven't seen yet. We will see this. Basically, the idea of pipes is to take the output of one command and use it as input to another command so that you can pipe output from one command to another. And there's no limit. You can have any number of commands, one command sending the output to another. And then also we'll see that there are variables, and these are variables that are used by the shell to change the behavior of the shell itself. Okay, and these variables can change. They can, of course, as the name suggests, their values can change in time. Okay, so let's start with a basic command called echo, and I'm guessing that you've used this already. So the basic way to use echo is to just use it as a print. So you say echo hello, and it prints out hello. You can print out any number of words. Alright, so you say hello there, prints out hello there, and there's no limit really. You can print out as much as what. There it is. Hello it can be used with double quotes, and you might have seen that in some commands I might have typed in. Right? No difference from what we did before. One thing that you can do is you can, for example, say hit return right here. So I'm going to hit return without the closing double quotation, right? And so what I get now is a secondary prompt. The greater than sign, that's another prompt saying you have to add more stuff before I will print out. And what you need to do, it's telling me that what I need to do is to have the end double quotation. And here's my end double quotation. Hit enter, and it prints out the same thing with that new line character. A couple of other things that you can use. There are some options such as echo -n, and you can do something like this. Okay, so what this does is it will not give you a new line. That is, it'll print on the very next line. As soon as I hit enter or return, it will print out this, and then it will print out the bash prompt which comes after, but it'll print it out not on the next line as it was done here, but on the same line. So it looks like you're saying your wish is my command, and now I'm going to type my wish in. Okay, so what would we use this for? This would be used in shell scripts when you would put in this would be a prompt to the user from your script. So you have this in your script, you run your script, and at that point you won't get the prompt, you will just get this. Your wish is my command, and then you type in whatever. Okay, you type in whatever input that your shell script needs. And this will come in handy pretty soon too. We can also have what are called escape characters. So let me just clear this. All right. So you can use the -e option of echo to print out, for example, a bell. So I don't know if you're going to hear this, but let me try this. Okay, it was barely audible to me. But if you try it, you'll probably hear a bell. The backslash is called an escape character. So we call this escaping the A. And what this means is we're going to make this A, we're going to treat it not as the normal letter A, but actually a special character. So we could try this also with octal code. So what that means is you put something like this in, and what you're saying is this 0 is not just 0, it's going to be treated as a special 0 that indicates that this next character is going to be read as octal. And if you try that, I'm guessing I didn't hear it, just probably because I have my volume set low, but I'm guessing that you will hear a bell if you try this. So echo space -e space double quote \07 should also give you a bell. So we will see the meaning of the backslash, things like that in more detail. Basically, it's called protecting the next character. So what the backslash does is protect the very next character, which is the 0, so that it's not treated as just plain 0, but it's going to be treated as octal. Okay, so there's a number of characters like that. So echo is, if you're going to use it normally, it's a built-in command, but there's also an external command called echo too. Normally we don't use it when we use bash, but if you were to use another shell, yeah, sure, you might be using the external command. In bash, we're using the built-in command. So -n once again disables the output of the new line. -e enables interpretations of the backslash escaped characters. And what kinds of characters are there? There is a bell. You can actually backspace. So let's try that. You can say echo -e and say XYZ/B. Oh, this might not work. I think I need my double quotes. Let's see what this will do. Nope, it didn't work. So I need my double quotes. And there you go. So when you do XYZ/B, it actually does a backspace. So how can we test that further? Let's try that. Okay, so this \B is a backspace, or yeah, backspace, and then it should wipe out the Z and type ABC. See if that works. There we go. So it did an XYZ and then backspaced over the Z and then put in the ABC. That's why you don't get the Z. Okay. So there's a ton of these characters you can try. I'm not going to go through every single one of them, so please take the time to try them out yourself. You can use \C to not terminate the new line. You can form feed, that is, go through a complete page. If you use a \F, /n you might have seen before, that's just a new line character. /R is carriage return without the line feed. Let's just try that. So let's do, instead of \v, let's do \r. And then what happened was we actually printed the XYZ. The \r is a carriage return, which is basically takes you all the way back to the start of the line, and then whatever you enter here writes over what you printed before. So the carriage return comes from old typewriters. Remember, if you've seen those, there's a little thing that sticks out and you push it all the way to the left and it dings. That's the carriage return. It takes you all the way back to the start of the line. Let's take a look at some of the other options or other escape characters. There's a horizontal tab, there's a vertical tab. So try those out. I'm going to take a quick look at a special character or meta character, and this is the pipe operator. So this is right above your enter key on the right side of the keyboard. So what this does is take the output of one command and send it, and it sends it as input to another command. So for example, here's how you would use it. You have one command, ls in this case, space, and then you pipe the output of ls to another command. And what this does normally is count words, but if you use the -l option, which is what this is, not -1, this is -l, it counts lines. So what this essentially does is take the output of ls and count the number of lines in it. So let's try that. So normally I would get, ls normally just gives me, the way it's set up in bash, it prints out in columns by default, so I think I will just get 2 when I count the number of lines. Let me just try it out. -l, well, it actually counted all of the things. So although this is printing out in columns, I have a feeling when you type it in like this, it does not actually print out in columns. And so that's why it's giving me 11. This is the number of things I have in here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 10. There's 2 lines of that, and 11. Yep. So the 11 comes from the number of things. If I did an ls -c, which is columns, let me see what this will give me. I'm not even sure. It does give me 2. So if you did actually do columns, you would get the 2 that you see here. So I know it's kind of strange, but what's happening here is that this ls is not actually giving me things in columns. And let me just, I can check this by taking the output of ls and putting it into a file list. Okay, so now I can cat file list. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, it has file list, so now my number of lines will go up. So notice that when I do ls right at the terminal, right at the command line, it gives me, actually it gives me the -c option by default. But if I redirect the output, it actually gives me not the columns option. So now it gave me 12 things, and so now if I did a wc-l file list, there I see the 12. Okay, that's just to explain why we got the 11 here and not the 2 we were expecting. The 2, we have to force it to go into columns mode. Okay. So the whole thing there was just to show you that you can take the output of one command, use it as input to another command, and you can have the output of this go as input to another command, and so on. You can chain this. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. Okay, so next up we will look at the different ways to protect, that is, remove the special meanings of meta characters.